Thank you, Rob. So we're all set for the second instalment of the O'Sullivan-EBDON match this afternoon, and I think events yesterday surprised many of us who'd expected a really close contest, but Peter Ebdon failed to take many of his chances, and after their opening session, Ronnie had established a fair bit of breathing space in this one.
Breaking off in this opening frame, left-handed. It really is going to be fascinating to see how this one pans out. Well, who would have thought at the start of this match we were going to have a respotted black in the opening frame?
The first frame, respotted black. I know they best of 19, but that could have been the game changer, if you like.
And can you believe it? He cuts a fantastic black into the corner pocket. What an exciting opening frame.
Peter won the next frame, and then Peter started to miss. I just felt at one stage that if he'd have just taken stock of the situation, looked at the way Ronnie was playing.
That is a bit careless.
I didn't think Ronnie was cueing well at all. I was wondering whether he had a new tip on. Every time he played a shot with side, he seemed to be well wide of the target.
Ronnie looked very edgy at the start of the match and would have been pleased to have led 3-1.
He's missed it.
I mean, Peter in the match had plenty of chances. Peter never really settled down in the match.
And that's a pretty good shot with your left hand. Quite an attacking shot this. You've got a lead of 5-1. This could be a good shot if he pulls it off. And he has.
It was 6-1. Ronnie needs a snooker. Ronnie played a couple of marvellous snookers.
This has got a chance. This has got a chance. How well did he play that?
Played it beautifully. Played it absolutely beautifully.
And Ronnie O'Sullivan, he does pinch the frame. Good recovery. Tomorrow's another day. Winning this frame at least gives Peter some sort of chance tomorrow.
It'd be very difficult to see Peter coming back. Just the style of play of Peter and the fact that he's missed a few balls when he gets in, and you just felt that simmering underneath that, Ronnie was cueing quite well, and I'm certain Ronnie's going to get enough chances to get those 3 frames he needs.
Well, I don't think any of us will ever forget, Ken, that Peter was 8-2 behind in their quarter-final match 7 years ago and came roaring back to win that one at 13-11. But with only one session to go and a 10 frames winning line, it's a big ask, surely.
It is, it's a huge ask. But I think if any player can do it, he can certainly do it. I mean, he'd probably relish the task. I think maybe the hype about that first-round match, I mean, it was the tie of the round, no doubt about that. And maybe the hype about it probably got to Peter a little bit more than it did to Ronnie. Both of the players were very, very edgy at the beginning of that match. And as we saw from the footage there, you know, there was chances going a begging for both players. So, but I think if any player on the circuit can come back from a 7-2 deficit, it's definitely Peter. He must win at least 3 of the first 4 frames. If he can win 4-4, you know, the game is back on. Even if he wins 3 of the first 4, it's still only 8-5. You've got to keep O'Sullivan at least 8 for as long as possible. If he does that, he has a half a chance. But you know, it's going to be very, very difficult. You were commentating on events on the other side of the arena yesterday afternoon, but you were keeping half an eye on what was going on. What did you make of the way Ronnie was cueing? Well, I mean, as I said, the first couple of frames, and as John said there in the little bit of footage there, that first frame was very important for Ronnie because he looked very, very edgy. Probably as edgy as I've ever seen him here at the World Championship. Missing a lot of, you know, very, very easy shots for someone of his standard. And particularly when he was using a little bit of side, it looked like he may have a new tip on. The commentators thought that he had a new cue for a couple of those frames because he was just totally out of sorts. And I think he has to improve, there's no doubt about that. I mean, if he does get through Peter Ebdon, he has to improve his game if he's going to have any chance of going any further in this tournament. OK, a lot of ifs, buts and maybes, Ken, and will soon be resolved this afternoon. Steve, you're down there in the commentary box. What do the guys think of the prospect of this match?
Yes, well, I'm down with two legends who are going to guide us through today's play, Willie Thorne and John Parrott. And as Ken was saying in the studio there, if you looked at the scoreline, you think that Ronnie O'Sullivan handled that session far better than Peter Ebdon. But it wasn't conclusive, especially at the start, John.
No, I mean, I don't think I've ever seen a black ball fight like that as well.
No.
21 shots on it before it was finally O'Sullivan got it. And you know, who knows, that might have had a big bearing on the session. I spoke to Peter a little bit before, just before he came in. He said it wasn't a great day for him and things didn't really go well, and he's looking forward to today. You know, as I say, I agree with Ken. If there's anybody who's stubborn enough to put up a resistance, I think it would be Ebdon.
As we know full well, the start of every session is important, Willie, and it goes without saying, he's got to get off to a good start.
Well, Ken's hit the nail on the head. If he doesn't win 3 of the first 4 frames, or at least come out of this first session 3-1, but his pot success rate is low. He's at 85%, and that's not Peter Ebdon. He should take solitude from the fact that he's just won a tournament and beat some of the top players in the world. Ebdon's somewhere near back to what he was a few years ago.
Ronnie O'Sullivan played within himself, must be quite happy with how yesterday's session went.
I was surprised. I don't know whether Ronnie has got a new cure or anything, but I obviously you're always going to be nervous here. The first round of the Crucible, especially one of the favourites like Ronnie is, and I think Ronnie did what he had to do. He played well enough to win the session 7-2, and that's it.
OK, well, the players are all standing by, so over to Rob Walker, our MC. It's very easy for me to say. I think his name's Rob Walker.
Thanks, Steve. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. What an array of snooker talent we have waiting in the wings, and what a rocking atmosphere we have in the Crucible for day 4 of the Betfred.com World Championship. Sit back, relax and enjoy some world-class snooker right here, right now. Please welcome, first of all, a player making his 11th appearance at the Crucible. In 2008, he enjoyed a memorable run to the semis. Former European Open finalist, the Cambridge Cuman, the gentleman, Joe Perry. And his opponent, a player whose appearances here at the Crucible tend to bring out his very best. 3 times a finalist in the last 8 years. He won a dramatic final to take the title in 2006. Also a China Open champion, the pocket dynamo, Graham Dock. And here on table number 2, please welcome a player who won his 9th ranking event title earlier this month at the China Open. Twice a runner-up here at the Crucible. He took the big one in 2002. He'll give it absolutely everything this afternoon, because he's the force. He's Peter Ebdon. And his opponent, a genius with a cue in his hand, winner of 23 ranking event titles. He first appeared here way back when in '93. Earlier this season, he showed he's still got the magic, winning the German Masters. 3 times a champion of the world. Blink and you'll miss him. The Rocket, Ronnie O'Sullivan.
A surge of energy in the crowd as Ronnie comes in, and don't forget the Dock Perry match you can see live on the red button and online. We're going to stick with events on this table though, so a possible 10 more frames to play this afternoon. Back to John and Willie we go.
Yes, thank you, Hazel. Good afternoon, everybody.